Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to explore the stories of young Black actors in the LGBTQ+ community. They not only shine on screen, but also courageously live true to themselves. Let's dive into their journeys and the power of authenticity in Hollywood. These young Black LGBTQ+ actors not only conquer the screen, but also inspire by living true to themselves. Their journeys are proof of the strength of courage and change in Hollywood. Stay tuned to discover inspiring stories from young Black LGBTQ+ actors. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support these brave journeys, and never miss the next video. Miles Brown, who became a star at just 9 years old for his role as Jack Johnson on the sitcom Blackish, 2014-present, made a lasting impression on audiences with his innocent and vibrant image. However, behind the spotlight, there's a story few know. Despite being loved and becoming a role model for many, Miles kept an important part of his life hidden until 2022. When Miles came out as gay in an interview with Without magazine, it shook the public. He shared, "I want to live true to myself." However, before he could come out himself, his mother discovered the secret when she accidentally read a private message between Miles and a guy. This event sparked strong reactions from the public, with some fans supporting him, while others felt disappointed and rejected him. Despite the mixed reactions, Miles remained steadfast in his decision. He gave up his image as a child star to focus on music and became a DJ at LGBTQ+ events in Los Angeles. Music allows him to express himself freely and convey positive messages to the community. Though his personal life remains private, living true to himself has made Miles a new icon within the LGBTQ+ community. Jaden Smith is not just the son of Will Smith. He's a symbol of a generation that refuses to be confined by boundaries. From a well-mannered boy in The Pursuit of Happiness, 2006, to a standout teen star in The Karate Kid, 2010, many thought Jaden would follow the typical Hollywood child star path. But Jaden has never been the normal person people expected. He grew up in ways no one could predict, always breaking molds. Jaden Smith didn't just change how people view fashion, but also altered perspectives on philosophy and love. In 2018, while on stage at a concert, Jaden boldly declared, "Tyler is my boyfriend." The audience froze. No one knew if it was true or just a joke. However, leaked photos later confirmed that Jaden was indeed in a relationship with Tyler, the creator, sending Hollywood into a frenzy. What's interesting isn't just the public's reaction, but how the Smith family handled the truth. Will Smith, known for his strong and principled image, was reportedly shocked. Though he always supports his son's decisions, Jaden's public declaration of love took him by surprise. Nonetheless, Will showed respect for his son's choice. Meanwhile, Jada Pinkett Smith had a completely different reaction. She embraced the truth about her son, seeing it as part of his journey of discovery and growth. Despite the Smith family being very private about their personal lives, they stood firm by their son. Jaden continues to live true to himself, pursuing a gender-neutral fashion style and minimalist lifestyle, not adhering to any standards, and enjoying a free life in Malibu. Not everyone who steps on stage has a family applauding in support. Not everyone who shines has a home to return to. Behind the glamorous outfits and pride on the red carpet, Billy Porter was once a trembling boy standing in front of a locked door, knowing he would never be allowed to enter again. Born into a strict Christian family in Pittsburgh, Billy realized he was different at the age of 5. But for a child raised in a world of rigid faith, that truth could not be spoken. Billy hid himself in melodies, in each dance step, and in the spotlight, where he could be anyone but himself. At 16, Porter got a life-changing opportunity. A role in the musical Dreamgirls, one of the most praised works of the time. But as soon as the stage lights shone on him, the darkness of his real life consumed him. Just hours after a successful performance, Porter returned home to face a harsh reality. He was disowned by his family. A small suitcase, a few clothes, and tears swallowed inside. That was all he carried when he left the house he once called home. With no place to go and no money, Billy Porter had to rebuild his life from scratch. But he didn't break. From a shy teenager, he learned to hold his head high, turning pain into strength, turning difference into his crown. When asked about his past, Porter just smiles and says, "I don't need anyone's approval anymore. I've learned to love myself." Billy Porter's journey is not only a personal story, but a beacon of hope for millions who have felt lost in this world. If you love stories of strength and inspiration, remember to hit like, share, and subscribe to explore more real-life journeys of young Black LGBTQ+ actors. In the world of Hollywood, where secrets are closely guarded, Jussie Smith had hidden something no one could have expected. A 2-year-long relationship, no scandals, no drama, but one that was never meant to see the light of day. Before millions of fans through blockbusters like Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, 2018, Jussie always maintained a composed, polished image. But behind the intense action scenes was a private life he only shared with one person. The person he loved, but couldn't openly embrace. From a quiet teenager starting his career with The Get Down, 2016-2017, Jussie Smith gradually built a reputation and influence worldwide. But with fame came invisible pressure. In an industry where an actor's career can be determined by their public image, not everyone is brave enough to step out of the shadows. In 2019, there was no major interview, no exclusive magazine cover. Jussie Smith came out in the simplest way possible. An Instagram photo with his boyfriend Nicholas L. Ash, captioned with the short but powerful line, "I love you." A simple affirmation, but it changed everything. No one knew that Jussie had struggled with that decision for 2 years. Secret dates, quiet moments of love, and the fear that if the truth came out, his career could collapse. But at that moment, amid global protests against racial injustice and the LGBTQ+ rights movement, Jussie realized that silence was also a choice, but not one he was willing to make. When the post went up, social media exploded. No one expected the Jurassic World star to come out so unexpectedly. Jabari Banks is no stranger when it was chosen for the lead role in Bel-Air, 2022 present, the modern version of the iconic series The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Born in 1998 in Philadelphia, Banks started his acting career at the age of 15 through theater performances, gradually establishing himself with his natural charm and confident energy. However, when he stepped into the role of Will, he unexpectedly became the center of an unprecedented controversy. While The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a nostalgic symbol for the 90s generation, portraying Will Smith as a humorous, charming young man, Bel-Air took a bolder approach, building a more complex, multi-dimensional Will, and notably, a gay Will. Banks confirmed this in an interview with Variety in 2021, stating, "Will is a real person." As soon as the news broke, the internet erupted. Some viewers welcomed the new, timely approach of Bel-Air, while loyal fans of the original version were outraged, accusing the show of ruining childhood memories and distorting the spirit of the iconic show. Few people know that this decision had been kept under wraps for months before it was officially announced. According to an internal source, the production team had initially hesitated about the public reaction and had even filmed a few scenes with a more traditional version of Will. However, Banks firmly insisted on sticking to the original script, believing that portraying Will this way would give the character a more authentic and deeper story. Another shocking detail that few knew. Before the show aired, Banks had received numerous threatening messages from conservative groups condemning the decision to make Will a gay character as a cultural shame. Yet despite the backlash, he stood firm, boldly stating in an interview, "If you can't accept a gay Will Smith, maybe you never truly understood the character to begin with." Keiynan Lonsdale did not come out on the red carpet or make any grand public statements to the media. Instead, he chose a surprising and very personal approach, writing handwritten letters to each member of the cast and crew before coming out to the world. Keiynan, who began his career at the age of 15 with Dance Academy 2012 to 2013 and gained fame as Kid Flash in The Flash 2015 to 2019, had millions of fans within the superhero community. However, behind the spotlight, he had spent years running from his true self. In 2017, while working on the film Love, Simon, Keiynan realized that he could no longer hide. But instead of holding a press conference or making a public announcement, he chose to write letters to everyone in the film crew to reveal his true sexuality. The next day, the entire crew was stunned when they read the letters, creating an emotional moment filled with hugs and encouragement. A few weeks later, he officially came out with a simple Instagram post, "This changed my life." Immediately, he received overwhelming support from fans and the CW network, where The Flash was produced. Now, Keiynan has shifted to indie music and enjoys a peaceful life in Sydney, but those handwritten letters remain a memorable moment in Hollywood. The shy boy in Moonlight, 2016, who captivated the world with his deep, sorrowful eyes, Alex Hibbert, unlike many of Hollywood's standout child stars, grew up quietly, staying away from scandals and focusing on his acting. He has always kept his private life private and never sought attention. However, in 2022, paparazzi captured an intimate moment between Alex and his boyfriend in Chicago, violating his privacy. These photos spread quickly, leaving him no chance to deny the truth. As a star known for his reserved nature, Alex made no public statement nor reacted to the sensational headlines. He simply took to Twitter and posted a short but powerful message, "I'm proud." The reaction from his fans was unsurprising. They fully supported him. However, what surprised many was the silence from his family. There were no congratulations, nor any anger, just a silence that spoke volumes. Currently, Hibbert is attending university and producing short films in Chicago, continuing to maintain his low-profile lifestyle. Despite this, the moment he was outed remains an unexpected turning point in the history of Hollywood child stars. From a charming young star in The Mighty Ducks, 1992, to an LGBTQ+ icon on TV with Empire, 2015 to 2019, Jussie Smollett became a pioneer in representing sexual freedom. His coming out didn't surprise audiences, as his character, Jamaal Lion, had been a strong representative of the LGBTQ+ community. However, his career was not without its ups and downs, and in 2019, a shocking event occurred. Smollett claimed he was attacked in a hate crime, but after investigations, it was concluded that the attack was staged. This scandal created a media storm, causing Smollett's career to crash. Those who once viewed him as a role model became divided, with some defending him, while others felt betrayed. From a top star, Smollett was almost completely blacklisted from Hollywood. He now lives in isolation in Los Angeles and focuses on music. However, the shadow of the scandal still hangs over him, making his coming-out story one that the world remembers for all the wrong reasons. Acceptance doesn't always come from where we expect it. Jeremy Pope once believed that his family and church would always support him, but he was wrong. Pope is a rare talent, making history on Broadway with 2 Tony nominations in his first year. When he transitioned to television with Hollywood 2020 and films like The Inspection 2022, he solidified his position in the world of independent cinema. But few know that for the first 5 years of his career, Pope kept his sexuality hidden. He wasn't afraid of Hollywood. He feared the world he grew up in, his family and church. When he finally gathered the courage to come out, the reaction was not love, but a slammed door. His church turned its back on him. His family remained silent. The place that had once been his sanctuary now became a home he could never return to. But Pope did not let that defeat him. Today, he lives in New York, continues his acting career, and even writes gospel music as a way to reclaim what he lost. How does a mother find out that her son is gay? Sometimes it's not through words, but simply a photo. Dyllón Burnside is no stranger to the LGBT community. As one of the standout stars of Pose, 2018 to 2021, he helped bring ballroom culture into the mainstream. But behind the public's confident image, he was once a teenager, worried about when or how he could come out. Eventually, his mother found out before he had the chance to tell her. One day, she opened his laptop and saw pictures of him with his boyfriend. No more hiding, no more secrets. That moment changed everything. There was no anger or rejection, just a long silence. Over time, his mother slowly learned to accept it. Today, Burnside lives in Atlanta, pursuing a career in R&B, but he never forgets the day a single photo changed everything. Jamaal Swain was a dreamer when he first stepped on stage at the age of 14. His role in Pose, 2018 to 2021, created a strong role model for the Black LGBT community. But while his character was open about his sexuality, Ryan himself kept a secret he thought he could protect forever. For 3 years, he kept his relationship private, never sharing it with friends, never letting it show on set. But the truth has a way of coming out. One day, a co-star accidentally found out. Maybe it was a glance at a message, a knowing look, or just an instinct. The rumor spread around the set, but instead of feeling embarrassed or judged, he received full support. Later, Swain decided there was no longer any reason to hide. He came out publicly in Paper magazine saying, "Live your truth." Today, he spends his time dancing and doing charity work in Los Angeles, embracing a life that he once feared expressing. Asante Blackk has never been one for the spotlight. He debuted at the age of 17, and with When They See Us, 2019, he quickly earned acclaim for his depth in social justice films. But as his career took off, a rumor surfaced, not from tabloids, but from a former schoolmate. The rumor was that Asante was gay. Not based on leaked photos or a secret relationship, just gossip from someone who once knew him. Social media exploded with speculation. Instead of avoiding the questions, Asante took control of the situation. He posted on his personal page, "I love who I love." No denial, no justification, just a powerful statement of truth. Fans immediately stood by him, but what surprised him most was the reaction from his childhood friends. They didn't condemn him, but they didn't support him either. Their silence was frightening. Now, Asante focuses on his college studies and documentary filmmaking in Maryland, telling his stories his way, honestly and fearlessly. Colman Domingo has never liked attention. A stage actor since the age of 16, he built his career on skill and quiet confidence. However, there was one big fear he had to face. The fear that revealing his romantic life would cost him major roles. So, for 10 years, he and his partner kept their relationship entirely private, with no gossip, leaked photos, or hints on social media. But in the end, the truth wasn't exposed through a scandal. It came from him. In 2018, in an interview with Out magazine, Domingo simply but powerfully shared, "I have always lived my truth." And what was most shocking was that the fear he carried for a decade had no basis. His fear of losing his career didn't come true. The cast of The Walking Dead supported him, and his fans remained loyal. The only thing that had ever held him back was his own self-doubt. Brandon Flynn won over a generation when he played Justin in 13 Reasons Why, 2017 to 2020. With his bad boy image mixed with vulnerability, he became an idol for countless fans. However, everything changed when a paparazzi photo caught him kissing another man. The photo shocked fans, especially female ones. The internet exploded, but Flynn didn't try to hide. Instead, he posted a short but powerful message on Instagram. "I'm gay." The fans' reactions were split. Some felt disappointed that their idol wasn't who they thought he was, while others celebrated his honesty. However, the biggest support came from Netflix, which immediately stood by him. Since then, Flynn has stepped away from mainstream projects and focused on independent films in New York. He no longer cares about those who are disappointed because he's too busy telling his own stories, his way. Glee, 2009 to 2015, was not just a TV show, it was a movement. And Dijon Talton was an important part of that movement. With his bright smile and boundless energy, he embodied joy on screen. However, behind the scenes, he was hiding a truth he feared would change everything. For 4 years, John kept his sexuality a secret, not just from Hollywood or his fans, but even from his own family. He had never told his mother. But secrets can't stay hidden forever. One day his mother found out the truth, not from him, but from a friend. Immediately, everything changed. The entire family went silent. No arguments, no demands, just an unspoken distance. It took a long time, but eventually his mother found her way back and learned to accept the son she had always loved. Today, Dijon Talton has fully embraced the freedom he once feared losing. He writes pop music, practices yoga in Los Angeles, and most importantly, no longer has to hide. As a Broadway star, Noah Ricketts is best known for playing Kristoff in Frozen, 2018. With his powerful voice and captivating stage presence, he quickly became a rising star in the American theater community. However, while shining under the spotlight, he kept his personal life private. That changed when a co-star accidentally saw a private message between him and his boyfriend. That brief moment quickly became a topic of gossip backstage. Instead of avoiding the truth, Ricketts decided to face it and officially came out in 2020, stating, "I sing to live my truth." The reaction from fans and the theater community was not negative. Instead, they praised his honesty. Today, Noah Ricketts continues to develop his career in New York, living more freely and inspiringly than ever before. Shaun Ross is not just a model. He's a symbol of breaking beauty standards in the fashion industry. He began his career at the age of 14 and rose to prominence after appearing in Lady Gaga's Telephone music video, quickly becoming the face of top fashion brands. However, behind the glamour, Ross had a big secret: his relationship with his boyfriend. He knew the fashion industry could be ruthless and feared that coming out would cause him to lose major contracts. However, when a private photo was leaked, Ross didn't shy away. Instead, he proudly came out in Attitude magazine in 2018 saying, "I'm gay. I'm beautiful." Rather than being blacklisted, he became a symbol of confidence, continuing to dominate the modeling and film industries in Los Angeles. Isaiah Stokes was once a promising young actor, debuting at 16 in the indie film The Outsiders, 2016. With his strong screen presence and quiet charm, he quickly made a name for himself in the film industry. However, his career was suddenly interrupted when a former friend accidentally leaked some private photos from his past. This revelation not only caused a stir within his fan community, but also shocked his family. Instead of explaining or trying to hide, Stokes simply posted a line on Instagram in 2020, "No explanation needed." While his fans stood by him, his family remained silent. Currently, he is focusing on his acting studies in Atlanta and is determined to continue pursuing his passion. Brian Michael Smith is an up-and-coming star in action TV shows, best known for his role in 911, Lone Star, 2020-present. However, before coming out, no one knew he was a transgender man, not even those in the industry. For 5 years, Smith kept his gender identity a secret, fearing how the public would react. But in 2017, he made the brave decision to come out, not through a personal statement, but on television. Reaction. Instead of facing opposition, fans and co-stars stood by him, offering unwavering support. Today, Smith continues to work in socially impactful films in Texas, affirming his place as one of Hollywood's most successful transgender actors. Daryl Stevens became famous for his lead role in Noah's Ark, 2005 to 2006, one of the most iconic LGBTQ+ series on American television. However, for many years, he kept the truth hidden from his family. That changed when his mother accidentally found his private journal, where he wrote about his first love. The shock from this discovery led to a period of tension in the family. In 2005, Stevens officially came out in Advocate magazine saying, "I'm proud." Over time, his mother learned to accept him. Today, he lives in Los Angeles, focusing on writing and sharing his story to inspire others. Wilson Cruz was a beloved teen star, famous for his role in My So-Called Life, 1994 to 1995, one of the most memorable teen shows of the 90s. However, behind the fame, his real life was very different. He was rejected by his family. At the age of 17, when he courageously came out as gay, his father kicked him out of the house. With nowhere to turn, he had to fend for himself, working while attending school to survive. Many years later, his father apologized and sought reconciliation. Cruz not only forgave him, but became a strong advocate for LGBTQ+ rights. Today, he engages in charity work in Los Angeles and continues to shine in Star Trek Discovery. Michael K. Williams is no stranger to playing intense, complex roles. He became famous for his portrayal of Omar Little in The Wire, 2002-2008, one of the greatest crime series of all time. But his real-life story was just as emotionally charged as his scripts. Williams never openly discussed his romantic relationships. However, when his boyfriend passed away, the truth could no longer be hidden. Friends and colleagues were shocked to learn that he had kept such an important part of his personal life private for so long. In 2012, he opened up in Out magazine saying, "Love has no gender." Before his death in 2021, he spent his final years working in films in Brooklyn, leaving behind a legacy not only as an actor, but also as a person who lived with quiet sincerity. Karamo Brown has always been known as a lively and engaging personality on Queer Eye, 2018-present. However, what many people didn't know is that for the first 3 years of his career, he kept his sexual orientation hidden from his family. The way his family found out was through television. In 2003, during his appearance on Real World, Brown publicly declared, "I am strong." His family, who hadn't known this about him, was stunned when the news spread through TV channels and media. However, over time, they learned to accept and support him. Today, Karamo Brown is not only a TV host, but also an influential speaker. He lives in Los Angeles, raising his son and helping young people learn to embrace their true selves. These stories of young Black LGBTQ+ actors are not just personal journeys. They are a great source of inspiration for all of us. They have courageously lived their truth and changed the way the community is perceived in Hollywood. Stay tuned as we continue to explore more powerful stories. Thank you for watching.